550, this is The McGraw Show on KTRS.
8:35. Check that, 8:38. Big 550 KTRS. David Stokes is with us. I call you the policy analyst, but what's your official title over there?
I am now the Director of Local Government Affairs.
Director of Local Government Affairs. And don't you forget it. Did you get new business cards at least?
We have them on order.
All
yes.
right, good. Yeah, there you go.
You have a big corner office
The
now,
printing
too?
industry is ecstatic with the title promotion.
Yeah, did you get a corner office at least?
No, kept the same office. I have a nice little office.
That's outrageous.
No complaints about my office.
Your office is in the Central West End, in which, if you go to the Central West End, you'll see that they're having this pilot program for parking in the city of St. Louis. What's wrong with this? I thought it was a good idea.
It is a good idea. I wish perhaps some of these systems had gone a little farther. But now, instead of having meters at every spot along the street, there's a meter in the middle of the street,
right?
And you have to park, go to the meter, put in your coins or your credit card, and that's the big advancement, that you can use a credit card.
Right.
And then it prints out a little receipt, and you have to go back to your car and put it. So there's an extra trip involved here.
Right.
Which is sort of a pain, and that's the negative of it.
Very similar to the Clayton.
Oh yeah,
the way the system is run in Clayton.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same as in Clayton, and it's nice to be able to use a credit card for parking.
Yeah, here's the one thing I don't like about that system. Once you put your debit card in and you get your receipt, then you have to go back to your car, which I don't mind, but then you have to open your car up and put it inside on the dashboard. Which I know a couple of people, when they're in Clayton, have put it on their windshield, and then I just take it off theirs and then put it on mine.
So
right.
bad.
You get stolen or just blows away in the wind, and then you get a parking ticket.
Right, exactly. So I don't like that part of it.
I think the thing that I also don't like is that it's still only a 2-hour maximum, I think. Isn't it?
Well, you have to keep the maximum to sort of prevent the employees who work right there from just sort of parking at the spot in the morning and filling it all day. And you need to keep the turnover for customers.
Yeah, but I think you should have the option of being able to park at least another hour or two if you're going through the trouble of using
Yeah, but
a debit
the idea is the businesses don't want you there for 4 hours. They want you to get in, buy your food, and then get out. Right.
Yeah. Where I agree with Kelly, and for this gets to the heart of my quibble with the new system, which I do generally think is a good thing. I wish I put it this way. They moved from 1980s technology to like 2012 technology, but they didn't move to like 2014, 2015 technology. They have the technology out there for you to do this via your phone and do this via apps, and they didn't do that. That you should be able to put your credit card in, and then if your meeting runs long or your lunch runs long, go back on with your phone and add more time to it. Now, up to the limit. I don't think you should be able to go beyond the limit, but you should be able to do this a little more tech savvy. I've heard from retailers the complaint in Clayton now, from the retailer perspective, is that rainstorms are now a gold mine for the city because in like bad weather, nobody wants to leave their car. Go to the middle of the street, get the ticket, go back to their car.
Right.
It's like all these extra time, and so people just skip it. And then they send the meter maid through and they make a killing.
Especially when it's, a foot of snow outside or it's freezing rain or whatever else. And with this bad weather, I could see someone being like, I'll just chance it. It's a great point.
Absolutely. So I wish that these new systems were just a little more iPhone tech app friendly, because they can be. I mean, that technology is out there, and I think that would have been an improvement. As I said, they went from 1980 to 2012 instead of 2014.
I'd park on the street, but whoever owns that lot next to Lester's, that guy's a communist. Did you ever go in that lot? They're like cash only, and you're like, I just need the 5 minutes. No, cash only. They're the worst. And then if you lose the ticket, they charge you on the way out too. And you're like, well, I'm in here. How did I get in here? So let me out. And they're like, no, where's your ticket? I don't have it. Pay me again. So I don't like that a lot.
If I'm ever meeting you for drinks in the West End, I know where you will not be parking.
I will not be parking in that lot. All right. So also going on is there are a couple of bills in Jefferson City which you highlighted you want to touch on. One is the transportation tax, right?
Well, this is the busy part of the committee work in the legislature this month and the first part of next month, where there's a lot of important committee hearings going on, and tomorrow they're hearing in the House the transportation sales tax proposal to put on the ballot. They can't just raise it, thankfully. This is to put it on the ballot, a 1 cent general sales tax to fund transportation improvements around the state. And I think I like roads. I like bridges. I have nothing against supporting the infrastructure for growth, but I do think that sales taxes are a terrible way to principally fund highways.
You would rather do it on a gas tax?
I'd rather do it via changing the way we do tolling in the state to allow for more tolling, but to just keep it to what could we do this year without other changes? Yes, a gas tax increase would be substantially preferable to a general sales tax increase.
And what's the reason for that?
Because if this passes, we're going to be paying for our highways based on how much people shop and not on how much people drive. And that's a terrible way to do it. That actually lowers the cost of driving if you're basing your funding on shopping instead of the amount of gas you're consuming. So it will actually lower the cost of driving, increase demand for roads. We should be going in the opposite direction. I'm not saying we should be legislating roads out, but if we're not paying for the roads with the current gas tax, we should raise the gas tax. Under a sales tax system, somebody who has a 2-minute commute to work or somebody who bikes or walks is going to pay the same thing for the highways and bridges as a trucker or a long-distance commuter, somebody who goes 45 minutes each way. That's crazy. I mean, that is beyond crazy. The gas tax is a good, efficient system of funding our highways and bridges, and if we need to spend more on roads, and I'm not opposed to that investment, we should be doing it with gas tax and tolling.
It's a really interesting point. So it's more or less of a user tax, and so if it's like charging for water. In the city of St. Louis, you don't get charged for water usage, so people doesn't care if your toilet runs. But if you're being charged for how much water you use, by golly, you'll fix that toilet from running because you're being charged.
Absolutely. Utilities and transportation are two areas where we can really fund the bulk of our needs through user fees. And anytime you can do that, you should. That's good policy. But it's not always possible. You can't fund police services through user fees. You have to do that through general taxation.
I hope not.
There shouldn't be a $100 charge to call 911.
Right.
But with roads and utilities, user fees are the way to do it. And it's, as somebody who supports the additional investment, it's frustrating to know that because sales taxes are polling better than a gas tax increase, that they're going to the supporters of this want to just do it that way.
Why would somebody ask that question? Why would you rather put it on a sales tax as opposed to a gas tax?
I think because a 1 cent sales tax increase, a penny on the dollar, sounds so low. When people know gas prices, like you say, 10 cents a gallon gas tax increase, they can see it. So it's just a little bit of explanation to get out there and explain to people how that's really not any more what you'll pay over the course of a year than a 1 cent general sales tax increase.
Right.
But it sounds like a lot more.
Also, in terms of sales tax, you do a little bit of shopping. I'm buying some big ticket items, some washers and dryers and refrigerators and all this type of stuff. You don't have to go very far to realize that you're paying a lot in sales tax. And if you can buy it online and get it shipped somewhere, or you buy it from a low tax county and send, you're saving a significant amount of money. So this sales tax thing is going the way of the dodo bird because of the internet.
Right. If people vote to pass the sales tax to fund roads, then they will then more and more use online shopping to avoid the same sales tax.
Right.
To have the UPS and the FedEx truck bring the stuff to the door,
right,
which they're now not paying for because you didn't raise the gas tax.
Right.
I mean, it's sort of a weird circle that we're going to get into.
Right.
And I don't think the answer is necessarily greater internet taxation. I think in this case, putting a higher gas tax on so that the UPS truck and the FedEx truck at least put into the system what the cost of bringing that good to your house.
There has to be some way, because as the internet continues to take hold, you are putting the online retailers at a significant advantage to the brick and mortar retailers. And
in the long run, I think internet taxation is inevitable. And I just hope it comes about when it's expanded to include it, that it's not just a bonanza for government to spend a bunch of new money. I hope it's incorporated in, and we can perhaps lower sales tax rates. That may sound like a naive dream, but if you're going to expand the base by 20% for internet sales, I'd like to see the sales tax lowered at the same time.
I went to the same, it doesn't matter what I was buying, but I was buying a big ticket item, and I went and tried to see how much it would cost me buying it from different stores, one from North County, one from the county, one from Southern Illinois, and where is the cheapest way to ship it? So it was my apartment, here at work, whatever else. And the difference was like $80 just in taxes alone. And I thought to myself, well, this doesn't, I mean, that's $80 is real money when you're talking to people. So it's like, with a couple of clicks of the mouse, you can save $80. Why wouldn't you?
And people do. And I think I live in Mid-County, so I don't know if it's my job to push South County, but for people who wonder where are the lowest sales taxes in the region,
Right.
They do tend to be the unincorporated parts of the county, particularly South County Mall.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the new director of
Brand advertising.
That's the Grand Poobah of local governments. Was that your official title?
That sounds good. We'll go with that.
You also need a humidifier for your house because your hair is a little staticky this morning.
It is. I also think I just need a haircut to address a portion of it. This whole video thing has made me I have to care how I appear in this show.
David, I didn't even notice. Seriously, I think your hair looks great.
You didn't notice that? He looks like alfalfa.
You know you don't. No, you don't.
David Stokes, when can we read you? When can we see you?
You can see a lot of information. There's on our opinions on the transportation sales tax and other issues at showmeinstitute.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Stokes, thanks. Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, you saw the Chevy new Silverado.